football coach Joel Taylor ahead of the Week 7 trip to Central Arkansas. Coach Taylor will start with some opening comments, and then we will open it up for questions.
Yeah, another week to get better. Get a chance to go against a really good opponent in Central Arkansas. Unfortunately, we didn't get the win last week. Another close game. Just feel like we right there on that cusp. But like I said, we got another opportunity to get better. Excited about our guys. Excited about our team. That has not changed. Did some good things on Saturday, but not enough. But looking forward to the challenge this week. Questions?
I'll just start with a highlight from last week. Micah Thurman led the team with 10 tackles, solo tackles last week against Austin Peay, and he looked really good. I was just wondering if you could comment on his performance and what role do you see him playing for the defense as the season progresses?
Yeah, man. Micah Thurman has done a phenomenal job. When we got here, Micah was still trying to learn how to play the position, and he's put a lot of work and time to getting better. He really has. He didn't start the season, but he actually got the Player of the Week the first game, which is crazy. Kept working. I think the third game he finally started, and he's taken it over. He's done a phenomenal job running sideline to sideline. He's a guy that can play both positions, our Mike and our Will. Impressive dang on specimen as a guy, man. He can run. He's doing a good job getting off blocks. Doing a good job making tackles. Really excited about him, but I'm also excited about Jay Carter. I think Jay Carter's doing a really good job as well. He's another one, from the spring, man, just learning how to play the game, learning how to play linebacker, man, and he continues to get better every day. Comes in with a great mindset to get better, and he has, man. So he's right behind Micah. I think they're, top 10 in tackles or something like that. I've seen something, but both of those guys are doing a really good job, and excited about that group.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit last week, trying to create some turnovers on defense. They haven't had an interception since week 1. How do you kind of go about, talking to your defensive backs and things like that?
Yeah. At the end of the day, we got to continue to create that mentality. And interceptions are, you got to be in the right spot at the right time. Our D-line got to, get to the quarterback where, they can, create some overthrows and, some tip balls, things of that nature, man. So, we just haven't had that opportunity yet. But like I said, we can't wait on interceptions. We got to go get them. And then also the same thing is with the ball. If a ball carrier got it, second man in, and they've got to rip it out. So we got to just continue to create that mentality. And hopefully, that'll happen here, next game. But I do think that's what we're missing. Just overall, just the big plays, big play on offense, I know we had one, but we needed another, to say special teams, we need a block kick or a big return, or we need to, like I said, create a turn on defense and put our offense in a good field position. So I think that's the things that we're missing, that we got to continue to just keep working, and it'll all come.
Another bright spot last Saturday's performance, David Weiner seemed like he had his best performance in the air, throwing for 388, that growing connection with Carmelo English. What can you comment about his performance Saturday and how this young sophomore has really progressed throughout the year?
Yeah. We did a couple things, try to help him. The week before, we talked about, giving him some time to throw the ball and find open receivers. So we did some things to create that, and he did a really good job. I think he completed 70% of his balls as well, which is really good, just being accurate and no turnovers. That's always big, man. But Davin's a good player. When we give him a little bit of time, tough kid. He took some blows, got right back up, and still led the charge. But Davin's doing a phenomenal job for us. He's going to continue to do a phenomenal job for us. Like I said, but we need those big plays, man. It was 2 throws. I just remember, man. Sure, if he makes those daggone throws, or we've seen the throws, that's an easy touchdown. But we gotta find those open players, and those guys got to create some some wiggle room and go score. So, but Davin did a phenomenal job. He did.
Coach, looking at Central Arkansas, they've got close to 3,000 yards of total offense this year. What do you see, and how is your defense got to prepare for both the passing and the running game?
I think anytime you start with a defense, the first thing you want to do, you want to stop the run. And Central Arkansas runs the ball better than any. They got 2 running backs, number 27 and number 4, man. I think 27 is probably the best player in FCS football. That's just my opinion. I haven't seen all the FCS football, but if anybody's better than him, let me tell you what, he's a guy. But that kid right now, I think he has 950 plus yards as far as in rushing in 6 games, which is really good. And then he has about 200 in the air as well as far as catching the ball. So they're going to try to find and get him the ball, but the backup running back is a good player as well. That guy, he's rushed for a 200-yard game, I think, or, a couple 100-yard games. He's a really good player. Get downhill. They got a really good tight end as well. They run a lot of, counter. That tight end does a good job of kind of getting up in there, fitting on blocks, athletic, big, can catch a dang on football, and then they got a veteran quarterback. So they got a really good football team, and it was a reason they were, ranked the top team in our league to win it. So they're a good football team. They're coached very well. But from a defensive standpoint, got to do a good job of leverage tackling. The one thing number 27 does, and number 4, all those guys do, they do a good job of attacking your leverage, getting outside to make the big plays. So we got to keep it bottled up, and we got to do our jobs. If I got to spill, or I got to be in the A gap, or I got to box, or whatever it is, we got to do our job, on a consistent basis. If we do our job on a consistent basis, I think our scheme will be good enough to win the ball game, or slow them down, I should say.
Traveling to Conway, Coach, you've taken some long trips. How's that been able to help y'all properly prepare a little bit more for these games?
Yeah, man. Most definitely, man. We had 2 early road games. We had one plane trip, and we had 1 road trip. When we went up to East Kentucky. So it was the first time we truly traveled together on the road. So hopefully, now our guys kind of understand what it's like. I think the trek up to Kentucky was about 7 hours. And now I think going to Arkansas will be about 8 hours. But we'll try to break that trip up. I think we're going to go up to their facility as well and kind of get acclimated to their field, which their field is different. It's cool, but it's different. So I don't want those guys, on a day of trying to figure that field out. But hopefully, the guys have been in this situation before, and we'll be a lot better.
We commented a little bit on the explosive offense of Central Arkansas that you have to prepare to face, and I just want to hear your thoughts. The important thing to note is West Georgia had the lead twice in the second half against Austin Peay, but couldn't hold on to the lead both of those times. What do you think contributed to the defense struggling to close out drives in critical moments?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It was self-inflicted negatives. It was the sins that I kind of talk about. The 1 touchdown in that second half, we had 2 face mask penalties. That's penalty yards. That's free yards. And then he scored on the quarterback counter, and somebody was supposed to box it. They didn't box it. They got outside. So that's a self-inflicted negative by us. I think that was on 3rd down, I think, as well. So we could have held them to a field goal there, and then we're still playing good defense. At the end of the day, we held that team to 250 yards of total offense until the last drive. Well, they ran 2 counters. We were supposed to spill it. We didn't spill it. We boxed it, and they found a crease, and that was 30 yards right there. And then the quarterback got out, and we should have had a guy on him, but that guy didn't play him. So that's self-inflicted negative that's on us. If we want to win those games, we can't have those type of mistakes. But at the end of the day, the buck stops here, right? It's the reason they made those mistakes. I got to coach better. We got to coach better.
I guess looking this week defensively, seems like this team does a good job putting pressure on the quarterback, kind of top of the league in sacks. So offensively, what are you kind of game planning to counter a good team that puts pressure on quarterbacks?
Well, I tell you, the guy that's probably putting the most pressure on the quarterback is their defensive end, or I should say stand-up end, number 8. He's a really good player. I think he was a voted All-American last year. So he's a really good player, one of the better defensive players in our league. And I think he was Defensive Player of the Year last year. So he's a really good player. So we got to do a good job of chipping him and putting 2 guys on him, rolling away from him. So we got to know where he's at, of course. And I know our offensive guys are in there, getting a good plan, just to try to contain him and give Davin some time to, create some space where we can put the ball down the field. So, but they got good players at the end of the day. You got to stop good players. We got to block them. And, offensive line-wise, we kind of been missing match a little bit. So hopefully we can get one unit in there, be a little bit more consistent there. But it's, good players. Good players. We got to stop them. So.
All right, Coach, we're good.
All right. Awesome.